On Friday, October 9th at 10:30 p.m., a call came in claiming that shots were fired at a nearby Chipotle where several were injured and one was reported dead. 2 CSI had arrived on the scene to investigate. Upon their arrival, the police already had the suspect in custody.
You ready to start working?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, first off, go make sure that the police have the culprit in custody, and two, anyone who is in need of assistance that they are intended to. I will make sure that all unauthorized personnel are excused from the scene so that I will be able to secure the crime scene properly.
Sounds like a plan. Let's meet up inside Chipotle once we've finished. The police have arrested the suspect, and the several that were injured are being attended to by the medics.
Good. Now we can start our search for any physical evidence. Do you have your camera ready?
Yup, it's all charged and ready to use. Remember, you have to take notes on what you see, hear, smell, and also draw a rough sketch of the area so we can make our final and finished sketch once we head back to the lab. Do you have your notepad and pen ready for all of that?
Don't worry, I've got it all here.
Great. Now we can start looking for evidence. Let's start with the victim, then outward spiral, since there's only 2 of us, and search for any bullet casings, other evidence factoring to the murder, or possibly the gun that was used.
Looks like it was a male worker working the night shift. He was shot right here in the chest. Take photos with several different angles of the victim so we can see how he was positioned. Be sure to also take close-ups of the bullet wound and any other important details. We also need to cut a piece of his bloody shirt in order for it to be used as evidence.
Here, I've got scissors and a paper bag so we can properly collect and secure the evidence. I'll label it as the victim's bloody shirt with my name and where I found it so that we can keep track of the chain of custody. Next, I'll also collect a piece of clothing where there is no blood as our substrate control so that we can make sure that the surface sample doesn't interfere with lab tests. Good work. Now let's continue to spiral out and see if we will be able to locate the bullet casings and or hopefully retrieve the gun.
Look over there. It's the bullet casings. I'll note that we found them approximately 5 feet away from the body. I will also package these bullets in the prescription bottle and label it accordingly. Now let's see if we can spot the gun.
Look, the gun. Marty, note that we have found the gun another 8 feet away from the victim. I will now package the gun in this manila envelope and label it as well.
Since we finished searching the area for any physical evidence, we should get standard reference samples from the suspect. The several who were injured and anyone else who was present at the Chipotle during the murder so we can compare any DNA on the victim to make sure we've got the right suspect.
I'll be the one to take a buccal swab from the suspect, the several injured, and the others who were present. I'll meet you back outside once I'm finished. Hello, my name is Detective Abby, and I'll be getting a standard reference sample from you. I will need you to open your mouth and use this cotton swab to swab the inner portion of your cheek because by doing this, I'm collecting cells for the use of determining the DNA profile. In these bags, I've collected and accordingly labeled the buccal swab from everyone.
Great work. Also, while you were doing that, I questioned and noted any eyewitness accounts that I received as well as finishing the rough sketch.
It seems like we are now ready to head back to the lab to analyze and transport the evidence to the correct lab unit. Make sure that when the lab units come into possession of any of the items of evidence, that they establish who handled and examined it and where it was at all times.
Back at the lab, Marty had finished his final sketch with everything drawn to scale and was ready to be presented to the court if need be. Once Abby and Marty had received back the evidence from the other units, they saw that the chain of custody for the evidence was properly followed. In the end, Mora was the suspect found guilty for the homicide of the Chipotle worker. The reason for this was because the worker had agitated Mora and also got her burrito bowl order wrong. This small issue could have been handled in a much more civil manner, but in this case, someone had to die because of a simple mistake.